Hey, it's Chris, and here are 10 signs your body might be giving you, telling you it's time to detox. Number 1, stiff, achy joints. I hear this all the time as a body worker. And if you've got chronically stiff or achy joints, especially in the mornings, that's a sign that your body is not digesting and eliminating its accumulated waste as efficiently as it could. Number 2, foggy thinking. Just like in the gross body of the tissues, that undigested experience and processing can happen in the mind, creating foggy thinking. We've also got frankly, such a corrupt agriculture system here in the US that our food is laden with chemicals. And so it makes it more and more difficult to think clearly. And there have been studies that cognitive decline is on the rise in the last 5 years. Number 3, sleep interruptions. This is a huge one. And getting to bed early and developing a really strong night hygiene is one of the very first core competencies that I create with my clients in my membership programs when we are working toward a goal to improve health, maybe reverse some dis-ease that has already started. And sleep is the biggest one. You'll hear me talk about sleep a lot, and it's just something that we need more of everywhere. Number 4, painful periods for women. Painful menstruation has become so common that it is now normalized. It's not normal to have a painful menstrual cycle. And if you are having a painful menstrual cycle, that's a sign, again, that your body has this accumulated waste. We call it ama in Ayurveda, and ama is the mama of disease. Number 5, excess belly fat, that visceral fat that is largely linked to inflammation and sits around our midsection, just kind of below the belt. And this fat tissue especially, now we know the body's fat tissue is now classified by the CDC as an endocrine organ, an endocrine tissue, which is pretty fascinating. And in another video I have about what are your numbers, I talk about the waist size in relation to your your hip to height ratio is one of those benchmarks for understanding your risk for autoimmune disease. Number 6, a thick coating on the tongue. Right? If you've got a thick coating on the tongue, maybe of different colors, it could be white, it could be yellow, it could be grayish. These are all different indications that this internal tissue and system, your GI tract, your gut, is overloaded. And it's time to bring in some fasting and use some therapeutic use of our spices in the kitchen to really stoke that digestive fire and eliminate that coating. Number 7, chronic fatigue. I feel like we are wearing our badges of exhaustion like an honor culturally here, and it's not. It's not in my communities, it's not in my circle, so please stop pretending that your exhaustion makes you special. It's just going to make you sick. Number 8, PMS, kind of going along with number 4, painful periods. Women's health certainly has a huge gap in understanding and support in our modern medical system. And so again, if you're having PMS symptoms, it's often due to a backup of lymph and some stagnation that is happening in the reproductive areas. Number 9, when the seasons change. The yogis had very specific practices and routines, not just on a daily basis, but a seasonal one as well. These mind-body principles, these energetic concepts called doshas, are specific to each time of year, where one of the 3, vata, pitta, or kapha, will be more dominant. And that season brings the qualities of those elements. And so when seasons change is often when we are more vulnerable to getting sick. And I've talked about this before in my daily rhythms workshops, and you'll hear me say it again, that we as organisms live off of these circadian rhythms. And circadian is around a 24-hour day with night and day. And then we have our seasonal rhythms, the ritucharya, or these seasonal practices and rituals. And detoxing is one of them. I have Fire Starter, which is my 21-day Ayurvedic community cleanse. I do every fall and spring. And so if you're interested in learning more about how to do an Ayurvedic home cleanse, and you want to be around really fun people who are modeling this practice and have lots of experience with it, then reach out. I'll put a link down below so we can have a free conversation about it. And number 10, chronic headaches. Right? Not just migraines, those kind of have their own category and origin. But chronic headaches, whether they're ocular headaches, kind of that pain behind the eye, which is so typical of pitta imbalances, or if you've got a lot of pain or headache around the temple area, which is often vata imbalance, or if you've got a lot of pain in your headache pattern around the sinuses and a lot of sinus pressure, maybe a history of chronic sinus infections. This is a kapha imbalance. All of these imbalances can be very easily and effectively put back in order, back in krama, as we say in yoga. There's a very specific sequence to doing things. And by doing that, you can really create an intelligent momentum to detox your body and thrive and feel great.